The Direct Zen Way to Liberation by Zensho W. Kopp. Read by Christopher Kent. Chapter 1. The Search for Truth. The Inner Calling. Everything that has a beginning is subject to the law of impermanence, simply because it has a beginning. Thus, human life too undergoes the process of birth and death. It is subject to the continual process of transformation, arising, subsiding, arising, subsiding. And so we ask ourselves, is that really all there is? Surely somewhere there must be something lasting. And just this alone, our desire for stability, security, and bliss is a constant inner calling and indication of the presence of a higher reality. Thus, we start to seek, without knowing what we are actually seeking. Yet what we seek is in truth nothing other than our true divine self. It is our own reality. We have never lost it. It is there, and it has always been there. It is just that we have covered it with the projections of our discriminating, conceptual thinking, so that we have forgotten who and what we really are. Yet now, right here, in this instant, the reality of our true being reveals itself. Nothing could be closer. If we do not find it here, we will find it nowhere. In the words of Zen Master Lin Chi from the 9th century, "You wear down your feet rushing in all directions. What are you actually seeking? There is no Buddha to seek externally." It is paradoxical that the truth has always been present and attainable, yet it withdraws itself as soon as we deliberately try to grasp it. The truth of Zen is directly before us, but as soon as we start reflecting on it, we fall into disarray. When we interpret things with our intellect, we become more and more distant from the reality we are seeking, for we remain solely within our self-made limitations of dualistic discrimination. In this way, we embroil ourselves ever deeper in the creeping tangle of our discriminating, conceptual thinking. But Zen rises above all this and calls to us. If you could only free yourself from conceptual thinking, you would recognize that there is no other Buddha than the one in your own mind. These words by Zen Master Huang Po from the 9th century form the core of the true original Zen of the ancient Chinese masters. We are only truly on the path to liberation when we can prevent our thoughts from roaming and seeking. For when we try to grasp Zen with concepts, we create our own restrictions and fall short of reality. All conceptual thinking is a mistaken opinion, says Zen. So why stuff your brain with all sorts of intellectual rubbish? What is the point of rooting around in every corner like a dog scraping up all kinds of old rubbish in its muzzle? Instead, let us dig into our own treasure, for the truth we're seeking is closer to us than we are to ourselves. There is nothing to seek. There is nothing to gain. There is no space in which things could be separate from one another, and there is no time in which anything is yet to appear or is no longer there, for everything takes place simultaneously, by which all things mutually permeate one another. Everything is an all-encompassing whole, which contains everything within it, now here. And since everything is now here, where will we seek, and what will we seek? When we wish to experience our true, original being, there is no other way than to immerse ourselves in it, now, here. For how can we experience what is here right now when we are caught in tomorrow, or the day after, or when we are anywhere else than here? Silent perception. If we wish to perceive our true being, it is absolutely necessary that we penetrate through and cast off the subjective projections of our own mind. It is equally necessary for us to give up our exclusive trust in our acquired knowledge and understanding. This means we must completely rid ourselves of our trust in our perception of the world through conceptual definition. Thus, transform your desire for rational understanding into silent inner perception, free of intellectual speculation. Cast doubt on all religious and philosophical beliefs. They are nothing more than interpretations of the neurotic intellect. Therefore, we do not need to believe in any religious dogmas. The old Chinese Zen masters constantly pointed with great emphasis to the fact that on the Zen path there is nothing to achieve and nothing to learn. There is nothing to reach, and there is no holy truth to realize. Rid yourself of all concepts. Completely break free from all forms of limitation and everything that can be explained. For the truth of our true being can never be made the object of logical, rational explanations. The ancient Chinese Zen masters had their own special way of making this clear to their students. On one occasion, news spread throughout the land that Zen Master Po planned to deliver a great public Dharma sermon on the truth of Zen, and that all monks from neighboring monasteries were invited to attend. The monks came from everywhere, from near and far. The great Dharma hall was hardly big enough to accommodate the many eagerly waiting listeners. Then the big moment came. The bell was sounded, and Zen Master Po entered the Dharma hall and sat down on his high seat. After a moment's silence, he began. Having many sorts of knowledge cannot be compared with giving up seeking for anything. This is the best of all things. Mind is not of several kinds, and there is no doctrine which can be put into words. And as there is no more to be said, the assembly is dismissed. Having spoken these impressive words, Zen Master Po stepped down from his high seat and left the Dharma hall.